In January of this year, we were at SHOT Show, and we spent a lot of time and money and energy filming. Even out in the desert, it was cold when we had media day at the range. SHOT Show is always crowded. It's hard to navigate Vegas. Everything's expensive and bad for you. But while we were there, and it was no, I don't think, mistake by YouTube, but while we were there, all of a sudden, all these new gun regulations were passed. And it wasn't like, once they pass a new regulation, it's not like you go, okay, now moving forward, I won't break that rule. It applies to all your other past videos as well. And I had a few problems initially. One, I was having issues when I was showing like a gun at SHOT Show, and there may be a gun that they don't want to see in the background. I'm not even talking about that gun. You can just see it in the background. You can't do that now. You couldn't take a gun apart and show somebody how to put it back together. You can't show somebody how to load a gun. I mean, there's so many things that, and it's 3 strikes, you're out, and if you built something for the last 8 years, that it's just not worth the risk. It just simply isn't worth the risk. So, I started this channel with gun reviews, and I just completely was just like, I'm not doing that anymore. And I took really down all my gun reviews. There really aren't any. If you scroll through, I mean, I must have like 500-600 of them that I just took them down. And I kept my top 10 lists. And anytime I would say, well, I like this gun for this reason, that kind of thing. I think that it's kind of they just don't want it to look like you're marketing for that gun. It's just so hard to understand and navigate. It's always changing. So I share this story because when that happened, I still want to produce content. And so there was a couple things that I focused on. One, I was definitely going to focus on spiritual content. One, it's God, Family, and Guns. That's always been there. More so when I quit my job as a school principal and retired and turned a lot of my attention towards this, I put God in charge. And there's a lot of times where he said, do this thing. And I think, well, that doesn't even make any sense, but okay. So that's not going to change. If you don't like the spiritual content, the channel's called God, Family, and Guns, I don't know, just don't watch that part of it. But the other piece was, I had always talked about Second Amendment related issues, but I turned all my attention to Second Amendment related issues, or just things going on in the gun industry or the ammo industry or throughout the Supreme Court or that sort of thing. And that's just really where I've turned my attention. But I have a couple problems with that. That started in January, and here we are in November, and I've been doing that. I have a couple problems with it. One, I miss doing gunnery. It was the artistic part of me that I enjoyed. I love shooting. I love filming shooting. I love filming the guns themselves. I love getting good shots of it. I was actually going to buy a drone that would circle me while I was shooting. I put that aside. I didn't mess with that at all. There was so many things I wanted to do to just really, I finished my gun range this year too. That was the worst part, or last winter. I finally finished my gun range. It's been very frustrating, and I really want to get back to it. So I'm going to be cautiously baby stepping into that. So I want you to know that first and foremost. The other piece is because typically when I do any video, most people will click thumbs up, but a lot of times when you get into Second Amendment related stuff, ammo related stuff, Supreme Court related stuff, kind of pushes people's buttons, and kind of a lot of the negative comments flow. But it's just my goal. I just want to get the information out. I think there are a lot of things on this channel that I am sharing that nobody else is sharing, because I dig every morning. I'm just digging and digging and digging through the ATF's announcements, through the Supreme Court's announcements, through the White House announcements, through, just digging and digging and digging. And, I know you don't want to hear a lot of it, but I think it's important to share. So I want to give you the opportunity at this point to comment below. I will be going through this. What do you hate about what's been going on in the last 8 months over this channel? I don't know, maybe not say hate, but what is it that you're not like, hey, I don't like what you've done to this channel. You should go back to this, or you should be doing that, or this kind of thing, that kind of thing. The other thing was with Maggie, because I'm in that gun store, like that causes so many problems. Like they demonetize everything and start dinging it. Like it just, it's hard. Like I almost feel like we're going to interview Maggie. We can't be in the gun store to do it. Like we got to go somewhere else to do it. Cause it's just, they obviously don't have a problem with Maggie. They just have a problem with all the guns in the background. So it's been tough. I want you to know my heart, which is I wish I could only do gun reviews. I wish I could do that. And YouTube was like, this is okay. Cause that guy's, I'm not pushing crazy stuff at all. I've never shown anybody how to modify a darn thing other than maybe actually I've never showed anybody how to modify anything ever. Or I've never been like, oh, check out this illegal thing I am doing. So I don't know. But there's where it's at. I'd love to hear your comments. I definitely want you to know my heart that I would rather not do that too. I would rather be talking about something else every day. Again, I do think those messages are important, and a lot of it nobody else is sharing, so I'm still going to continue to get that out, but I'm going to mix it up quite a bit with just kind of my 2 cents on, what gun I would like best for deer hunting or something, that sort of thing. So any thoughts or insight on any of that, definitely put that below. I'd love to hear your comments. Put that below as well. What do you hate about all this? But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests, and never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.